7 comets, racing toward the sun, trailing ice, dust, ancient rock, breaching the solar frontier like spectral invaders, and in the midst of them, one does not belong. 3I/Atlas, an interstellar visitor, a foreigner, an object born under another star, crossing the vast frozen gulfs between systems. This isn't a comet returning home. This is something that's never been here before, and it's not coming alone. If you're still watching, subscribe now. You crave more than answers. You seek what lies beyond. Subscribe now, and be part of the few who never stop searching. For reasons no one can fully explain, a rare swarm has formed. 7 comets all approaching perihelion, their closest brush with the sun, within a tight 30-day window. One after another, they hurl inward from the outer dark, like cosmic torpedoes, slingshotting toward the light. Statistical analysis says this shouldn't happen. The odds, about 1 in 100,000, maybe more. Astronomers call it a coincidence, but coincidences don't usually feel like this. The pattern is too tight, the timing too clean. You don't need to be a scientist to know something strange is unfolding. Nature doesn't usually operate with this kind of symmetry, this kind of theatrical flair, and when something breaks pattern in the heavens, people start to wonder, is it gravity, chaos, or a signal we've yet to decode? The swarm began quietly, just a trickle of observational reports, a few unusual comets in the tracker, then more. Then came the shocker. One of them had a hyperbolic trajectory. That means it's not gravitationally bound to the sun. It's passing through once, then gone forever. Like Oumuamua, like Borisov, Interstellar, a one-way trip from parts unknown. They gave it a name, 3I/Atlas, the third confirmed interstellar object ever observed by human eyes. A time capsule from a distant solar system, a frozen fragment of somewhere else. And then, almost impossibly, more comets appeared, not interstellar, but bright, active, bold, and weirdly aligned, each one drifting inward on orbits that seemed, if not identical, then eerily synchronized. 7 comets, 1 interstellar, all arriving together. Astronomers ran the simulations, Monte Carlo models, probability curves, randomized orbital mechanics. All the math said the same thing. This clustering is not normal. Something pushed them, or pulled them. Something nudged these icy bodies, scattered across astronomical units, into a narrow temporal bottleneck. And now we're living through it. Across the globe, telescopes are pointed skyward, not just backyard amateurs, but the heavy hitters. Pan-STARRS, SOHO, Hubble, James Webb, sky surveys and deep space observatories are locked in, capturing every spectral fingerprint, every twitch of brightness, because no one knows how long they'll last. Comets are temperamental, especially new ones. Most of these are making their first or second pass into the inner solar system. That means they're volatile. They outgas, they erupt, they fracture. Some disintegrate completely under the glare of the sun. Others flare brilliantly, visible even to the naked eye, trailing long tails of ionized gas and dust that stretch millions of miles. Already, a few have begun to transform. Their coma, the hazy glow around the nucleus, is swelling. Their tails are growing. Some are splitting. One has already brightened faster than predicted, hinting at something explosive beneath its icy crust. This is where science meets spectacle. And yet, despite all the visual beauty, the question still looms. Why now? Why so many? Why this interstellar object? Now, of all times. Some suggest a long-forgotten event, a massive fragmentation thousands of years ago, that scattered these comets like celestial shrapnel into similar orbits. Others propose gravitational resonance, subtle tugs from Jupiter, ancient interactions with passing stars. Still others wonder if we're seeing the influence of something we haven't yet detected. A dark object, a rogue planet, a massive body in the outer solar system we've yet to observe, maybe even a remnant of our system's birth, still shepherding icy debris inward. And then there's the speculation. You won't hear it from NASA press releases, but it's out there. Whispers of engineering, of control. What if the timing isn't natural? What if the interstellar comet isn't random? What if it's a probe, a messenger embedded in a field of distractions. What if it's not alone? The idea isn't new. The concept of cloaking a probe within natural objects, hiding in plain sight, has been proposed in theoretical SETI papers for decades. The best way to observe without detection is to masquerade as noise in the system. And right now, this swarm is pure noise. But let's be clear. There is no hard evidence of artificial origin, no spectral anomalies, no isotopic ratios that scream synthetic material, nothing that breaks the laws of physics, just timing, just a pattern, just a gut-level sense that the universe is speaking louder than usual. Still, that's often how science starts, with a question, not an answer. So what do we know? We know these comets are loaded with clues, carbon compounds, frozen volatiles, and molecular fingerprints older than Earth. We know that 3I/Atlas carries alien material, literally alien, across light years of space. We know the brightness, the spectra, the tail dynamics. They all speak to chemical histories, forged under different suns. This is what makes comets such powerful messengers. They are leftovers, preserved remnants of creation. They haven't changed much since their birth, wherever that may be. So when they fall toward the sun, they burn their secrets into the sky, and this time, they're burning all at once. The coming weeks will be crucial. Astronomers will measure shifts in brightness, chart orbital deviations, compare outgassing patterns, and above all, they'll watch 3I/Atlas like a hawk. Because it's not just the presence of the interstellar object that matters, it's when it came. It didn't drift into an empty solar system. It arrived during a cosmic parade, and whether that's luck or something deeper, it demands attention. There is a sense, unspoken but deeply felt, that this swarm may offer more than data. It may offer perspective, a reminder that we are not the center, that the solar system is not a closed system, that visitors come and go, that ancient forces, gravitational, chaotic, perhaps even intelligent, are still at work. Sometimes those forces show themselves in subtle perturbations, sometimes in a perfect storm of comets. So now we wait, we watch, we listen, not just for signs of life, or propulsion, or design, but for meaning, for connection, for whatever faint signal might lie buried in the noise of dust and ice. Because maybe this is just a coincidence, maybe this is the 1 in 100,000 shot that just happened to hit, or maybe it's not. Maybe the universe is staging a moment, a curtain pulled back for just a season, a reminder that while we track the stars are also watching us. And if that doesn't stir something in you, check your pulse, because these aren't just rocks falling toward the sun, they're questions, and they're coming fast. If you found yourself captivated by this story, if you want to stay updated on this once-in-a-lifetime celestial convergence, on 3I/Atlas, and what astronomers uncover in the weeks ahead, then make sure you subscribe and follow along. This is more than space news. This is cosmic history in motion. Let's watch it unfold together. What would we do if something from another star system just showed up? Then in 2017, we got an answer. Oumuamua. An object with no tail, no outgassing, accelerating in ways that didn't make perfect sense. Long, thin, tumbling. Alien, not just in origin, but in behavior. And just like that, it was gone. A ghost in the data. No time to get a clear look. 2 years later, another came. Borisov. This time, a more typical comet. Glowing, venting gases, trailing a tail. Interstellar too, but easier to explain. A familiar body from an unfamiliar place. And now, 3I/Atlas. Number 3. Another traveler from the deep. But this one didn't sneak in alone. It arrived with a convoy. A fleet of icy bodies, racing alongside it. Each one spinning, shedding, breaking. Ancient passengers, riding solar gravity into the inferno. The sky has rarely seen this much drama, compressed into such a short span. It's like the universe is staging a show, and the timing couldn't be more precise. One by one, they fall toward the sun. Their orbits trace long, elegant arcs, some hyperbolic, some elliptical, but all of them converging, like a wave front, a shock pulse, something dislodged far away, long ago, that's only now reaching us. You can almost feel the tension in the astronomical community. Everyone watching, everyone speculating. Because once you see a pattern like this, it's hard to unsee it. They're trying to make sense of the origin points, looking for a common link. Were they all knocked loose by the same passing star? Did something disrupt the Oort cloud? Was there a mass ejection event that fractured a giant ancient object and sent its children inward? Some even wonder if this is the result of an encounter centuries ago. Gravitational shock waves, finally triggering release, like a time bomb detonating in slow motion. Others go darker. What if it wasn't a natural event at all? What if it was planned? What if a sufficiently advanced civilization didn't just send a signal, but sent an object? One object, then 6 more. A coordinated release, each one loaded with material, data, maybe even intention, wrapped in icy camouflage, built to look like debris from a distant origin. And before you scoff, ask yourself this: if you wanted to observe a young, active solar system discreetly, how would you do it? You wouldn't send a shiny metal saucer screaming in at Mach 50. You'd send something that looks natural, something quiet, something that blends into the background noise, something like a comet. Because here's the truth: the more common a thing is, the less attention it draws. That's why 3I/Atlas matters. It's not just another frozen rock. It's the third data point in a pattern. And in science, 3 is where trends begin. 1 is an anomaly, 2 is coincidence, but 3 demands investigation, especially when that third one shows up during a firestorm of cometary activity, the likes of which we've never seen. Ask any planetary scientist. They've never dealt with this kind of scenario before. Normally comets are spaced out, a few a year, maybe 1 or 2 worth tracking closely, a nice bright one every decade or so. But this is a traffic jam in space. They're running observations day and night, thermal imaging, spectroscopy, trying to tease out composition, mass loss, spin rates. Every single detail is another breadcrumb, and with every passing day, they learn more. Some of the comets are showing high levels of carbon monoxide. Others have unusual silicate structures. One is releasing unexpected nitrogen compounds. That's the beauty of it. Each comet is like a fingerprint, a chemical profile of where it was born. And when one of those prints doesn't match anything we've catalogued, that's when things get interesting. That's when you lean forward. That's when you stop seeing them as rocks and start seeing them as messengers. Because that's what this event feels like. Not just a celestial accident, but a delivery, a payload of mysteries, dropped into the inner system with surgical timing. A moment where nature, or something beyond it, sends us a message, whether we're ready or not. And let's be honest, we weren't ready. Even now, most people don't know it's happening. 7 comets, including an interstellar visitor, visible from Earth over the span of just a few weeks. And it's not leading the news. It's not on the front pages. But for those who are watching, it's unforgettable. There's something primal about watching a comet. It triggers something ancient, something deep in the human psyche. Our ancestors saw them as omens, harbingers, divine warnings written in fire. They'd stop wars, crown kings, abandon cities. Because comets aren't quiet. They scream. You can see their voice in the sky, a tail stretching across the stars, glowing like a fuse.
3.
You don't need to understand orbital mechanics to know you're witnessing something raw, something rare, something powerful. Now multiply that by 7, and make one of them interstellar. You start to understand the gravity of this moment. Not just physical gravity, but existential. Because we don't get a lot of chances to watch the unknown arrive. We don't often catch the moment when deep space reaches out and brushes our sun, and yet here we are. One of these comets could fragment without warning, explode in brightness, light up the night sky for weeks. Another might vanish completely, vaporized before it ever puts on a show. That's the danger and the wonder. Comets are unpredictable. They don't follow scripts. But this script, this cluster, this swarm, it almost feels written, orchestrated, timed for impact. Not physical, but intellectual, emotional, philosophical. Because when you stand outside and look up, and you see more than one comet in the sky at the same time, your sense of scale shifts. Your perspective gets cracked open. You start to ask questions you haven't asked in years. What else is out there? What else is coming? And maybe more importantly, why now? You can't ignore that question. Not when the odds say this shouldn't be happening. Not when everything you know about orbital dynamics says this event is a statistical ghost. something that should exist only in simulations, not in reality, but it is reality. Right now, right here, in our sky, and the clock is ticking, because comets don't stay long. They come blazing in from the dark, and then gone, either burned up, flung outward again, or shattered into dust. They don't leave behind monuments, just memories, and data, and maybe questions that won't be answered for decades. Because here's the truth about cosmic events like this: you don't always know their meaning in the moment. Sometimes you only understand the signal after it fades. Sometimes the dots don't connect until long after the sky has gone dark. But that's why we have to watch. That's why we have to record everything. Archive every wavelength, every trajectory, every outburst. Because someday, maybe years from now, a new theory will emerge. A new discovery will tie it all together. And someone will look back at the fall of 2025, not just as an oddity, but as a turning point. A moment the universe whispered something loud, and we almost heard it. So what happens next? Maybe nothing. Maybe they all burn up quietly. Maybe 3I/Atlas passes by, sheds a little ice and drifts back into the void, silent and unremarkable. Or maybe one of them doesn't. Maybe one flares so bright it turns night into day. Maybe one fragments and reveals something strange inside. Maybe one behaves in a way we can't explain. That's the gamble. That's the beauty. The only way to know is to keep watching. So keep your eyes up. Stay curious. Ask the uncomfortable questions. Push past the easy answers. Because the sky is speaking now more than ever. And whether this event is a coincidence, a cosmic accident, or something more, it's happening. Not in a lab, not in a simulation, not on a whiteboard, out there, right now. This is the kind of thing we used to dream about. The kind of event that reminds us we're part of something bigger. A living, breathing cosmos that still has the power to surprise us, to challenge us, to wake us up. And if this swarm is a message, then it's up to us to receive it. When 7 ancient wanderers tear through the solar system together, when a visitor from another star rides shotgun through a fleet of icy ghosts, you're not watching random motion anymore. You're witnessing intention, written across the sky in tales of fire and gas. The ancients called them omens for a reason. We call them data points. But either way we watch. And this time we watch knowing that something is off. Something about this moment refuses to sit comfortably inside our understanding of celestial mechanics. The numbers say fluke. The pattern says no chance. You don't roll the cosmic dice and get 7 aligned comets, including an interstellar one, on accident. You just don't. Unless, of course, what we call accident is just a placeholder. A word we use when we've run out of better explanations. And that's where we are now. We are officially out of explanations. Oh sure, the papers will give you plausible models. The gravitational nudge of Jupiter. Long-period comets from the Oort cloud released by a distant stellar flyby. Maybe a long-dead object that broke apart millennia ago, sending debris tumbling through deep time, finally arriving in synchrony. But do any of those models feel right? Do they explain the timing, the compression, the symmetry? Because it's not just that they're arriving in a tight window, it's that they're doing it together, like a chord struck in space, like something harmonizing across millions of miles. You don't need to believe in aliens to sense how unnatural this feels. You just need to believe in math, and the math says this shouldn't be happening. And yet here they are. Comet after comet streaking inward, shedding their secrets under solar fire, revealing their chemistry, their history, their bones. Each one a message in a bottle from a forgotten corner of the universe, a frozen telegram thawing in real time. And somewhere among them, 3I/Atlas, the interstellar one, the outsider, moving too fast, too far, and on a path that guarantees it'll never return. Think about that. We get one shot to study this thing. One pass. No second orbit. No wait until next time. It's a flyby from deep time. A guest that didn't RSV. And once it's gone forever. It could be a shard of a dead planet, the core of an alien comet, a chunk of debris from a supernova-born system that collapsed billions of years ago. We don't know. We may never know. But here's what we do know. It wasn't here. And now it is. It entered the solar system at precisely the moment 6 other comets came screaming in like a volley of artillery fire. That timing alone changes the conversation, because maybe it is a coincidence, just an icy interstellar fragment arriving during a freak burst of cometary activity. But if that's the case, it's the loudest, strangest coincidence we've ever seen in the sky. And let's be honest. When the universe does speak clearly, when it sends a pattern too sharp to ignore, how often do we actually listen? We are trained to dismiss, to rationalize, to look for noise, not signal. But what if just once, the signal is the point? What if the sudden appearance of 3I/Atlas, alongside a wave of bright comets, isn't a coincidence, but a mirror? A moment where the sky reflects our ignorance, forces us to admit how little we actually know about the mechanics of our own backyard. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. For all our probes and missions and telescopes, we still have no idea what really lives at the edge of our solar system. The Oort cloud is a theory, a beautiful one, but no one's seen it. No one's mapped it. No one's flown a probe through it. We don't even know how big it is. We just assume it's there, filled with comets, waiting to be stirred. So when something stirs it, when 7 comets suddenly come knocking, and one of them has a passport stamped from another galaxy, we should probably ask more questions. We should feel the weight of that mystery, because the sky is reminding us of something we keep trying to forget. We're not in control. We're not the center. We're passengers, tiny breathing anomalies on a warm rock, spinning through a solar system that's far more dynamic and far more dangerous than we like to admit. We live in a cosmic shooting gallery, and most of the time we don't even look up. But this event, it forces us to. It's too big to ignore, too precise to dismiss. Even now, scientists are watching for changes, watching for flares, for fractures, for anything that could hint at something more. A sudden spin, an unexpected trajectory change, a composition that doesn't match anything we've seen. Because that's all it would take. One anomaly to flip this story from interesting to unprecedented. One fragment in one comet that doesn't fit. One irregular signal. One shadow where no shadow should be. And you can feel it. Beneath the calm technical reports, beneath the professional detachment, people are hoping for weirdness, hoping for disruption. Because deep down, we all want the story to be bigger. We want to find a sign that says we're not alone, that there's more to this universe than cold physics and ancient debris, that we're not just lucky mud crawling over a lonely rock. And maybe this is that moment, or maybe it's just another mystery that will fade, unresolved, into the night sky. Either way, this is a test of our curiosity, a test of our willingness to pay attention, because the cosmos doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it aligns 7 comets and waits to see if we notice. And now that we have noticed, what do we do with that knowledge? Do we write it off, file it under statistical outlier, and move on? Or do we sit with the mystery? Do we let the silence speak? Because that's what this event is. More than anything else, a question, asked not in language, but in orbits, in chemistry, in fire and motion. 7 comets, 1 interstellar, 30 days, a sky that feels like it's holding its breath. And here we are, alive at the precise moment it unfolds. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe, something more. So here's the call. Watch the sky. Stay awake, ask the impossible questions, and never assume the universe has run out of surprises. Because this isn't just a comet storm. This isn't just a celestial fluke. This feels like a message, and it's still being written.